Hey, how's it going? It's Robin Smith, and it's time for the Robin Smith Show for Sunday, July 13th, 2025. Welcome to the podcast. This is the second edition of Robin driving in the car with AirPods on. There's not enough time in the life. Welcome, welcome. How was everyone's 4th of July? Did I already say the date? Did you all go to the fireworks? Better watch out, guy. This buzzard. I just drove past a buzzard eating something dead on the road. That's how you know it's truly a road show. Oh, I forgot. I can't believe I totally forgot to talk about the bombing in Iran last time. Not that I go too in depth on world affairs, but it seems like a little bit of a blind spot here. I'm checked out. I'm checked out of the news. Are you checked out of the news? I'm not doing my wife sends me stuff on Instagram. She's like, didn't you hear about this? And I'm like, did you hear about Joe List's new special? I don't even remember what it's called. Joe List has a new special. I don't even know if it's new. It's just new to me. Yeah. I am very tapped out news wise. But yeah, it seemed like a bigger deal at the time. It still seems like a big deal, the bombing in Iran. But then the news comes out and it's like, oh, Pam Bondi's like, yeah, what are you talking about? Jeffrey Epstein client list is on my desk. I don't know what you're talking about. We're moving on. We're moving away from that. There's just too big of a data stream here. I'm playing a different game than the losing my shit over the government's actions. I don't know. There's some rule of thumb where if it's still news a month from now, then it's actual news. But if it's not a rule of thumb. I shouldn't say rule of thumb. I think I heard Jordan Peterson say this, or someone, Douglas Murray, one of those IDW guys, intellectual dark web, Eric Weinstein's coined term. For those of you who are like, what is he talking about? Yeah, if it's still news in a month, then, but I don't know how to check on that. People usually listening to daily news or just get like the Friday roundup or the Sunday, the Sunday Face the Nation, Meet the Press, Fox News Sunday, all that stuff, right? Boy, I'm way a different road here. Figuratively, I mean. So on 4th of July, not on 4th of July, but or was it? Actually, was it the 4th of July parade? It might have been. Yes, it was. Gosh, who's living this life? The AC unit went out, so we had to call the guy. Guy came over. He looks at me like he was very nice. He looks at me like, when was the last time this unit was serviced? I look at the service log. It's like 4 years ago. Something's going on over there. I've never one of those like white wedding tents. Anyway, so yeah, he goes, okay, so you've got a buildup of debris. So of course I do. If I haven't serviced, I totally dropped the ball on. I think we just didn't like the company that installed the unit, and we suspected they were ripping us off with the maintenance plan. And it's like, hell to them. But then nothing replaced it. So here we are. Then my utility room is flooded. So, but yeah, so there's this parade. There's this 4th of July parade. We take 2 cars because I'm like, well, if the guy calls, well, I totally screwed this story up. We were waiting no AC on July 3rd, and it was like one of those 24/7 rescue router deals. And it's like, here's your service technician. And I call back an hour later. I'm like, he's not here. I call back an hour later. I'm like, he's still not here. I'm not going to be able to make good decisions. I'll be sleep deprived. Just send him tomorrow morning, Anyway, So I end up getting to the parade. We take two cars. I literally open the car door, find the parade has already started. So I was like, oh, we're gonna join the parade late. I see the parade, and then the guy calls. They're like, your technician will be there in 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh, come on. Immediately turn around. I'm like, well, enjoy the parade. So, but yeah, it was a good 4th of July. You know, all in all, I got my swim trunks on, got to play with the kiddos. Someone brought homemade fireworks. Not homemade. What am I talking about? They brought their own personal stash, is what I mean. We didn't go down to the National Mall or anything like that. Nothing too crazy. Um, by the way, I want to ask you all. I really need help leveraging the power of AI. I was asking ChatGPT to come up with camp lunches, like cold sack lunches. I asked it to make like give me the week meal plan for a 9-year old cold sack lunch, and then it spit it out. I was like, wow, this is why aren't I using this more often? And then I actually asked it to. This is silly, of course. Maybe I'll post this image to my Instagram. I was talking about how did it come up? Oh, my wife was we were arguing about whether or not fiber when you eat French fries, how much fiber is in the like, it's less fiber in French fries because than a regular potato, and excuse me. And I made some story up about a fiber fairy. I'm like, you don't lose fiber by putting French fries in a fryer. I think I was misunderstanding her point. It's like the potato has fiber, and then you lose fiber when you make it into fries. Well, if you take the peel off, you do. That's right, as we found out later. She already knew, as I found out later. But the point is, I make up this strange story about the fiber fairy. It's not like the fiber fairy comes and steals the fiber. And then I asked because I'm more meal planning, and I asked ChatGPT, uh, "Does the fiber fairy?" I asked something like, "Does the fiber fairy steal fiber from French fries?" Or maybe I even just said like, "What does the fiber tell me about the fiber fairy?" And ChatGPT just made up a description. I got to tell you this. Hold on. I have to. I am at the farm, so I'm going to pull over, stop recording, and then I'm going to read this to you. Give me 1 second. All right, testing. Hi. Oh, hello. It's the parade of geese. Did you have a good time down there at the pond? You didn't even wipe your mouth. How many are these? 7, 8. Okay, so hold on. Where was I? Okay, so I asked the question, what does a fiber fairy look like? Is this still recording? Okay, ChatGPT goes, the fiber fairy isn't a standard character from fairy tales or media, so you get to imagine her however you like. But here's a fun and creative vision of what she might look like, especially if you're picturing her in a way that's playful and kid-friendly. The Fiber Fairy imaginative description. Outfit. A sparkly tunic woven from strands of oats, wheat, flax, and dried fruit. Think golden browns and soft earthy colors with bits of shimmer like chia seeds or glittering grains. Her wings are of course translucent like a dragonfly's, but shaped like big leafy spinach or kale leaves, light and fluttery, and her hair is long and wavy, maybe made of spaghetti squash. Speaking of squash, I just picked some up at the farm. It's summer squash time. Back to the text. Maybe made of spaghetti squash strands or colorful fruit ribbons like orange and purple. Of course, she has accessories like a magic wand with a cereal bar star on the end, a belt of granola and dried cranberries, and a little satchel filled with raisins, almonds, if nut safe, and oat bars. She has an aura. She leaves behind sparkles that look like flax seeds and glitter and smells faintly like cinnamon and apples. What she does. The Fiber Fairy visits kids to help them remember to eat foods that, quote, keep tummies happy, close quote, like fruits, veggies, whole grains, and beans. She might leave behind a sticker or a note when someone makes a great food choice. Oh my gosh, the creativity of this thing. Then it asks, would you like me to draw or generate a cartoon of the fiber fairy based on this description? And of course, I asked my girls, and they were like, no. Of course they didn't. They said yes. Now, I will post this image of the fiber fairy to Instagram as well. Okay. I have collected myself once more, and forgot to... Okay, geese, you got it. We have a contract here. You got to move. I'm not running over a goose here. So I meant to open today's show with my heart going out to the families impacted by the flooding in Texas. Obviously heartbreaking. I just can't even, I think I cope. I talked earlier about tuning out of the news. I think I cope by avoiding. I definitely cope by avoiding. There's no I think about it. I avoid the news. Yeah, some of those videos were just absolutely incredible. I can't imagine losing my camper, my daughter. Yeah. My hearts go out, all of my hearts go out to the families. And again, there's that spiritually controversial side of me that is open to the contract, the soul contract that, whenever anyone dies, the way they die. Here's what I can't get behind. If free will is a thing, then, when you reincarnate with free will and your soul has an agreement or a soul contract with like what you're going to do in life, let's say you kill yourself, was the suicide part of the agreement, or did you zig when you meant to zag? You know what I mean? Like you came to learn how to have more patience, maybe last lifetime you didn't have kids and you were scared to have kids, and then this lifetime you're like, all right, I'll have kids this time because I need to learn how to have patience and care for something that's vulnerable and triggers all of my own childhood trauma. I'm going to do that this time. But then that's what I'm here for. But I'm not here to learn about killing myself, but the free will comes in and then you kill yourself at the end. That can't be part of the agreement. Of course, I just answered my own question. Anyway, there's no way that's part of the agreement. Oh, okay, here's how I got to that. But people they allegedly choose to die in major, like plane crashes, or or die in childbirth, die as a young baby. That's somehow, it's working through karma for the survivors. Not just like paying your own debts, your own soul's debt, but for the survivors, you're paying off like family debt. I don't know. It's all so controversial and triggering, but I don't. I'm just naming the part of me that is open to that. Okay, that's all I'm naming. So I'm thinking that's it. A cynical side could say, oh yeah, that's what you believe in to cope with the devastating loss of your beloved, right? When you lose your family members. Anyway. What else was I going to talk about? I can't remember now because I'm all bummed out. Not letting myself imagine. It had something to do with air conditioning. Well, I already ranted about the AC. What was it here? Consarn it. Oh, the wrist injury. Right. I injured my wrist. It was the weirdest thing. I woke up in the morning like I was going to go to the gym, and then all of a sudden my wrist starts hurting. I'm like, what happened? And I think I just overstrained it. Oh, I know what it was. My mom got me this prayer wheel. there's like a Buddhist prayer wheel, and you spin it. It's handheld, and you spin it. Because there are prayer wheels that are huge. I remember going to like these Buddhist temples when I went to China. And outside the temples, they've got these huge wheels that they spin. And again, I think it's working. It's the wheel of karma or the wheel of dharma or something. I don't know. I'm doing that. Apparently, you're supposed to spin it clockwise. If you spin it counterclockwise, the prayers don't get cast into the ethereal dimensions. So I think just between weightlifting and then other stuff and then doing that prayer wheel stuff, I think I sprained it. So I went to the orthopedist and she said, yeah, it's not a tear. But I told her about this, the whole thing. Like I've probably talked about it on the podcast before. Like when I go to get my, got a rogue postman here. What are you doing? I have a numbing part. Like I got an X-ray when I injured my finger, and the guy squeezes my finger. He's like, "You feel any pain?" I'm like, "Nope." I was feeling pain a minute ago, but then it just this part like numbs, and then they misdiagnose it. They don't know how to treat it because I'm like, "Yeah, I don't feel any pain." Yeah, bend it that way, do this, squeeze that. I don't feel any pain, and then I get back into my car, and the pain comes back. Right? That's the damnedest thing. So I kind of let this orthopedist know. I'm like, hey, I have this like psychosomatic part of me that will like take me out. It'll numb me. So I don't know what you do with that. How are you supposed to properly evaluate? I mean, obviously you use objective instruments, but yeah, she's like, yeah, the X-ray looks good. You don't have any arthritis or anything like that. It's like, okay, great. I really just don't want to go to what happened? I don't want to go to physical therapy. It's such a time suck. It takes too much time. Which is a foolish thing to say. Of course, Robin, this is your body. Your 50-year-old self will not thank you for avoiding physical therapy. Anyway, you all watching Wimbledon? Watch any of the matches? I think the American beat. I couldn't know where the other gal was from. The flag was just purple. There's no such thing as a purple flag. I mean, Sri Lanka has purple, right? Isn't the Sri Lankan flag purple? But it was just a purple rectangle. That's not a flag. So I don't know where she's from. Is that like some new country? Some country that ceded off from Russia? I don't know. She had one of those names, Eastern European names. Anyway. Yeah, no more hockey. No more hockey. Now I'm talking about golf and tennis. Very weird. Because I'd rather talk about that than about Trump's deportation policy. That's not what you're here to listen about. Lanternflies. That's the last thing. And I think I'm going to release a track here at the end of this episode. I think I can do that. I think Hammer No More the Fingers doesn't realize this. I'm gonna release one of their tracks. I think on their self-titled album, that's self-released, and so it's not under a record label. So the only one who can get mad at me and sue me would be Hammer. I don't think they're gonna do that. I'm promoting their music. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna leave you with that. But before, just in the Maryland reach, I don't know. Are lanternflies a thing where you live? Are they the invasive species and they're fucking up your garden and your trees and your plants? I don't want to do the state's dirty work. People, it's funny, on this episode, literally on 4th of July, I was encouraging the kids. I was like, bring me the scalps of 20 lanternflies. I was this ruthless King Joffrey-esque character, right? You're supposed to kill them. Even the babies, you kill the babies. Can you hear that? I'm parking. Hang on. Even the babies. I don't want to do it though. I think it's wrong. It's obviously right. The state government is telling me to be a lanternfly murderer, but I just let them crawl on me and then go about my, sometimes my girls are like, let it crawl on me, I don't know. All right, I'm home. That's the podcast. That's what is that, 20 minutes? Plus Hammer No More the Fingers song? So I think I'm going to share Vodka Grasshopper with you, because that was one of the first songs that They played it at a show at Rock and Roll Hotel. I think they may have closed with that song, and it's fucking great. I think it's my favorite song on their first album. So this is Hammer No More the Fingers with Vodka, Grasshopper on their self-titled first album. Enjoy.
Vodka, Grasshopper should be jumping through the city streets now, but you're making tiny sounds with the wings that you will never use now. Use now, but you don't. It rise. You're living it down like a bug on the ground. No, you don't. It rise. You gotta wake up before you go back to bed. No, you don't. No, you don't. Vodka, Grasshopper, your mind is playing funny tricks now, and you're losing its supply, because you're living in a mason jar now. Uh-oh, no you don't. Realize you're living it down like a bug on the ground. No you don't. Realize you gotta wake up before you go back to bed. No you don't. No you don't.
The Robin Smith Show is produced by me, Robin Smith. Executive produced by Robin and Kelly Glenn Smith at Team Robley. Theme song by The Very Small. The show is engineered by one of my alters, Games Nabisco. Listeners can get in touch by calling or texting the hotline at 301-458-0883. Messages can be sent to robinsmithshow@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Disclaimer. This podcast is for general information purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, psychotherapy, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice. Note: no therapist-patient relationship is formed. The use of this information is at the listener's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. Listeners should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they have and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.